NiP in trouble. Their map pick taken away from them by Vega. They push it to overtime, but it's not enough to convert. And Vega Squadron, the team we call the gatekeepers, they do manage to stop any team that is not able to keep themselves at a consistent level of form. They punish them here at the major. It happens time after time. It was a weak start from Vega, of course, in the competition, but now on an elimination soil, a best of 3, they've managed to find the first, and it was NiP's map pick. Up next, Train, a map NiP couldn't manage to fathom versus Windstrike. Will it happen again against a different CIS opposition? All those answers and more. Joining me is Sean Gers and Chad Birchall. Gents, we just have to kind of scrap the highlights and we have to break things down. First things first, right off the gate, Sean, you had NiP as a hot favorite for this. What went wrong?
Well, I honestly think they started like fantastically. They went up 3-0. They lose an eco where Crush gets 4 deagle kills. That's kind of where things really started to fall apart from. They made so many mistakes on that opening half, and one of them would actually be...
Yeah, go for it. Let's whack into that one
So
first.
We're going to actually look at the Vega aggression actually right now.
This is something good that Vega did early. We're just going to go forward from this one here. This is just a bit of a setup where they're with low buy. You can see that on the bottom left of your screen. They go for a push. They take control. They actually force get right back. You can see him over towards here. He has to drop back and they make it and make a push here. Lecro has cleared out all of connector. And then what you're going to see happen is this perfect timing. Smoke fades. Hutchie's going to be able to push through. He's going to get a free kill. And then they're just going to get NiP completely locked in because they know they have to clear connector and they have to drop all the way back. So you can see what happens after this kill. I'm going to change over right now to Tony Black. He has even more map control right now, pushing all the way up. You can see that these two players need to clear connector. They're going to head over towards that B bomb site. I can fast forward this one a little bit more. And as you can see right now, look at this. All the players from Ninjas in Pajamas are towards the B-bomb site, completely surrounded, right? They have nowhere to go. They're locked in. There's only 17 seconds left on the clock, and that round is done and dusted. But these are the mistakes you were talking about, Sean.
Yeah, and so this is actually a monster pop coming out of NiP, where they're trying to get through the monster tunnel right there. And what ends up happening is they're going to open this round with 2 frags right away, both on the B player. So Dennis kills Hudchie at the pillar, and then Lecro actually ends up flanking Sandbag. And now, right now in the round, you can see Vega Squadron is way out of position. NiP has the bomb site right now, but look what they opt to do. They opt to push Sandbag aggressively, which doesn't make sense at all because you have the bomb site, but the bomb comes into Sandbag. So Rez takes the bomb into Sandbag, and even though he had so many frags, so many key moments in this match, that was something that was key because that would have broken Vega Squadron's economy.
And we have one last blunder to show everybody here. You might remember this one. This was a pretty prolific one. This was the Molotov. So right now you can see the setup. All the players from Vega on the bomb site, they're set up in post-plant positions. NiP do a really good job about getting back in this round because they did a 4-man A-lean. They come back in, they get the kills that they need to. It leaves JR in a position where he's not going to be able to get a lot done. So you can see the retake coming in. They're slowly clearing all the angles. They're going to make the kills they have to. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit for you. So this Molotov that has just landed on the bomb site right here is going to play spoiler. The bomb is planted in a unorthodox position, and Rez, he knows he needs to get on it because the time's ticking away. They don't have a kit. He runs through the Molotov, gets the last tick, he dies. The next player gets on the bomb to defuse. There's no time because of the 10-second defuse, and another round squandered from NiP. These mistakes are the difference makers. They had the top 3 highest rated players in that game, Forrest, Rez, and Dennis. Rez and Dennis were 2 win conditions for me. I felt they did what they needed to do.
Well, aside from those 2 rounds from Rez, they're going to be haunting him coming into Train. I mean, those are the mistakes that are very hard to just say, I'll focus on the next map, because you're going to be replaying that in bed tonight.
Yeah, we're kind of going into NiP right now, but in overtime, Vega completely outplayed them. That was a totally different ball game compared to what happened in regulation. I thought NiP should have won in regulation, but once it got to OT, I favored NiP. I said it's over. NiP's winning this game. And Vega just dominated them. They should have won 4-0.
It felt like the experience would have been enough then, right? But when you think back in this game, we looked at Vega not being very good at pistols. They were able to grab 1 in this matchup. That's huge. The fact that NiP started 3-0 up and then they lose a round of the A-bomb site to Crush with 4 deagle kills, all these little mistakes have all mounted up in the reason that the game was so close, the reason that the side of Vega were able to get to 15 rounds so early, and then that forced the experience from NiP to really have to play in, and it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, Vega chose to take the next map to Train. We do have map stats for you, so you can see how these 2 teams do match up. Of course, historically, and you look over the last 3 months, there's not that much on record from NiP. They haven't really been playing too much Counter-Strike, at least not in an official capacity, and so there is a degree of an unknown entity. They've played it twice, and we can see that they haven't been necessarily thriving. One of those was at this very tournament, Windstrike besting them 16-6 on this map, and I have very positive memories of some of the players from Vega on Train.
Yeah, unfortunately for Vega, though, they're starting on T side, and so far at this major, the Augs have absolutely dominated on Train. I think the CTs have won over 70% of the rounds on Train so far. Just a ludicrous amount of rounds have come out of the CT sides, and NiP was on the other end of that because they started on T side. So this time, NiP gets to start CT side. Vega is going to be on the back foot.
One of the problems for me with NiP is they don't really have a primary AWPer, right? Dennis seems to do it quite a lot. Forest can do it. Rez picks it up on maps like Inferno, even Lecro grabbing it. So the fact of the matter is, on a map like this, when you have JR as an AWPing in-game leader, he could potentially take over this map on the T side, and there might not be an answer for him.
We'll find out. I mean, yeah, JR, but Chopper, of course, had that absurd, I think it was a 1v4, at least 4 kills, as he lurked from T-Con over in London. They have had their moments in the sunshine for sure, but that's an interesting point, though, Sean. I'm intrigued to know how much that's going to lay into this. With the power of the AUG, especially on the long-range maps such as Train, the CT side, you're expecting more dominance than perhaps previously.
I think so, yeah, especially given Vega's players, they all were using the AUG. Chopper actually was opting for the M4, which I thought was a little bit weird on Overpass, but JR has been honestly carrying Vega so far throughout this event. He needs to have a big game as the AWP.
Yeah, it's hard to see what NiP can do because it felt like the comeback was really strong. They were locking Vega out of a lot of rounds. They had some unlucky rounds or they had some misplays. If they can get that out of their game, they can take Train and take the whole series. But hopefully they're not too shell-shocked by losing their pick. When you see a team like Vitality beat Vega Squadron 16-1, you're coming in here expecting it to be an easy day at the office.
Yeah, it's time for us to find out how this one plays out. Are we really going to wave goodbye to the ninjas at the hand of Vega Squadron? And it's not the first time. They have some of the least successful players so far at this major statistically, but Vega Squadron now stand one map away from taking NiP out of Katowice. We'll find out how it's going to play out with your casters. It's going to be Moses and Vince to guide you through.
Train, the second map in this series, and exactly right, NiP, one map away from elimination at IEM Katowice at the 14th CSGO Major, and Vega has been a thorn in their side ever since they eliminated him back at E-League Atlanta. In that major, 16-2 on cash, and ever since then, it's been a fun little story to discuss the PTSD that NiP surely is going through.
They have fought back in the likes of the Face It Major, but other than that, it's been pretty rough sailing. And on Train, a map they've already suffered a pretty horrendous loss on, this doesn't bode too well. NiP do start on the CT side, though, Moses. That is going to be a benefit. That is going to be a positive. But they're going to have to do the most of this side because their T side looked awful.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd hope that now, with no more chances, no more mistakes to give up, that NiP would play with a little bit less fear. This pistol round is massive to get NiP started well on this CT side. Get those AUGs out as quick as possible and start running up the score to give yourselves an easier second half. Here comes the Molotov towards Connector to slow down rotations to prevent them from coming in. Dennis has an angle. Pistol God is immediately shot in the face. He's got to back off, and that is not good. Get Right's out in the open with nothing to do. He was the only one who could take fights. Dennis has to win this, and it's not going to happen. Aggression down the lanes from Vega, and that might have just won the pistol round immediately.
It's looking like it is a huge advantage, allowing Tony Black to actually get the drop on Forest, but he comes out second best. Forest lands another one. He's had some crazy pistol plays in the past on this very map. Can he go one better? He's brought this back onto an even confrontation, but Hutchie's gonna find Reyes in the backside, does a bunch of damage to him, and Forest can't open his account any longer. It has been closed off. Hutchie finds himself Rez and will finish off that kill, and Vega Squadron will convert the bomb plant.
That push all the way to the back wall chewed off so much time from the clock. Even if NiP was able to push down those lanes and find Hutchie, who is the last remaining aggressor from Vega, I don't even know if they would have had time for the defuse. They had no kits in hand. That one's heartbreaking. Dennis and Get Right not able to get anything done on the initial entrance. Nice push down sidewalk with the cover of the Molotov. Second round investment, though, you can understand why. Plenty of utility for NiP to use. Scout as well in Lecro and 4's hands. But NiP is fully invested into this. If Vega can convert this round, that would probably get them up to 3 pretty easily. That next round NiP would have to save in order to get the rifles out, and this is going to be tough. Walking in towards box halls, there is a player at the bottom of the ladder who can have a quick flank, but that relies on Dennis and Get Right being able to slow down this hit. They weren't able to do it on the pistol.
Train, one of those maps where the scout can definitely be solid, much like Dust 2.
They're both outside, though.
Exactly. And it seems like Vega are pushing B. So it's going to neutralize the effectiveness of the scouts up close. Of course, they're nowhere near as powerful. Vega taking their sweet time before they unleash a set play onto B, and it seems to be forthcoming. I say that, but Tony Black actually pulls back. I thought he was about to push down the ramp there.
This is odd that Vega's slowing this down so much. NiP don't have information, but they could be pushing on the other side of the map. Oh, look at Get Right. He's going to go right in with the flashbang. He gets one, trying to convert the second, runs out of bullets. JR is going to lead the way. Dennis is still here at an angle. That's a great nade. NiP can do this. This is certainly possible. An awkward fight for Dennis, but the nade bails him out. JR's wrapped from behind, but NiP with an advantage, and a big one at that. Ro4 delivers.
Death by indecision by Vega Squadron. Staying in box horse what felt like forever, and now 13 seconds with Chopper trying to clutch a 1v3. It's not going to happen, and it will be able to pick up the fallen Galil. 1-1, a huge round for Ninjas.
Yeah, that is a massive turnaround. They absolutely needed that. Vega gave him one of those on overpass. Crush with the Deagle was able to convert pretty much a save round from Vega. But this was just nice. Those scouts rotate over in time, and this time Get Right with the aggressive play up ramp with the help of a flashbang. Him and Dennis are able to slow things down. You can see Vega once again trying to wrap around the train through sidewalk, and that gave Dennis enough time to feel comfortable and take that battle. Much stronger buy from NiP. Good nade as well onto JR. Those Deagles were deadly on overpass at times. NiP's got to be careful.
Certainly can't take this round for granted. Things could quickly turn back around in favor of Vega Squadron. Just remember, Crush's 4K with the Desert Eagle on A site. But Lecro's going to make short work of him. So a lot of the pistol power taken off the hands of Vega Squadron with Crush's death. No grenades either to play with, as they've gone mainly for firepower. You have to come out swinging one of these Desert Eagles if they want to carve any kind of a inroad and craft a masterpiece of a round for Vega Squadron. Now the smoke's beginning to clear, so the peaks are going to come to fruition, but Dennis has this lockdown with the scout. At this stage, with no armor, it packs a hefty punch. As Tony Black has just found out twice. Dennis finishes off where he starts, but he can't deny the bomb plant, and Choppers came in with a couple of headshots.
This B defense is struggling early on. Chopper has a chance. It was Crush on overpass now. He's got 2 kills to get this bomb planted. Rez is low, and he has the kit. That could come to play at the end. Another great shot from Chopper. Can't get a fourth, but Hutchie has nothing to do, and Rez has got a sprint to the bomb. He is going to get the defuse, but great damage done by Vega.
Excellent round, considering they only put some Desert Eagles into play, so they're going to have a decent purchase coming up against a weakened Ninjas in Pajamas.
NiP is going to have a nightmare of a defensive half if they cannot hold that B bomb site better than what we've seen so far. The pistol round and that round right there. You have to imagine with some of those successes in these first 3 rounds that Vega is going to lean on this site and see if it collapses in the future. Dennis, you mentioned indecision killing Vega in the previous round. Well, Dennis couldn't decide if he wanted to throw that Molotov, and it just took too long. No ops out yet for Vega. No ops out yet for NiP because of the damage they've taken. They just didn't have the cash to pick it up. Get Right's even forced back onto a Deagle. That's going to make this inner defense even more weak, and he's the anchor. He's the only one there at the moment.
That's a terrifying prospect, having just a Deagle. I mean, Get Right's, of course, very capable, but now Dennis has realized and does shimmy back onto Connector with his AUG. It's really tailor-made for that position as well. Excellent spray control, longer range. Oh, the timing for Get Right. So nearly cost him his life, but he's able to smoke down the site, and here come the grenades. Crush has been tacked down to 1 HP, but they still get the kill, and it should follow up with a bomb plant.
It's so weird. I don't even know if they can go for this. Look how damaged Dennis and 4-star. This is going to be so brutal. If they don't find a kill soon, they might need to just back out. There is a lot of things they have to clear, a lot of smokes they have to wait to fade. A deep pop flash as well. Hutchie can get one. And he does eventually readjust his aim, but Tony Black on this flank, he is going to make sure all the weapons are taken away from NiP if they start pushing forward. Forrest is checking, but he doesn't have that timing. Again, timing has ruined NiP in this round. An easy kill for Tony Black. He can even follow it up, and that's all it. This round is sewn up in the favor of Vega. Even though Tony Black goes down, Vega will eliminate everyone.
A UMP for the AUG at the end, and NiP on the ropes. Vega Squadron have taken a massive bite out of the Ninjas, who will be pretty much broken down. They've got a couple players and $3,000, but apart from that, everyone's broke.
That's just so awkward. Get right. Crosshair on that position for so long, and as soon as he pulls a nade out, they do a contact play. Vega just doesn't let NiP know they're coming, and I mentioned they were going to lean on that B bomb site. They have had easy access to the entries every single time they've gone there, which is why it's so curious that NiP's plan was to allow Get Right to anchor it with just a deagle.
Vega going to bide their time, knowing that Ninjas are on, by and large, just pistols. Don't want to rush into any stack shenanigans, but this is going to allow Dennis to start to make a move up the ramp. Tony Black is there to deal with him. No real information has been gathered, and now they're going to realize what's about to come at them, and that's a barrage of grenades on the A site. Going to start to funnel their way out of A main. Our Vega Squadron, there's a triple stack over the right side of the bomb, but Forrest has been spotted. He has to get the hell out of there, and I'm pretty sure Hutchie will check his left-hand side here. And indeed he shall. Information gathered, double spray, headshots. Round secured.
Nice movement from Hutchie as well. As soon as he saw two players, just backs away as fast as possible and makes them fight him in the narrow corridor. Really reduces the effectiveness of the numbers. Forrest's going to go down here as well, but he might be able to get one, but it's not to be. Third round for Vega. They're now up 3-2. NiP are going to buy. Lecro goes for glass cannon up. Augs on Rez and Dennis. Forrest is sitting at 3,700, so he's forced back to the FAMAS, and so is Get Right. If you're going to play that anchor position inside, you're going to need utility, and so Get Right has to drop down for the smoke and flashes.
Still early days on this map, but Hutchie 147 ADR.
No kit on the NiP side, Vince. I've seen that come into play a couple times. That heartbreaking round on Overpass.
No kit or Molotovs. Staple grenade on train. 3 players over on Ivy. Bomb carrier is there. Lecro saw them hop across.
Oh dear.
Without armor, that peak is always going to be a nightmare, especially when you consider it's an obvious nade spot too.
He didn't expect anyone to be on those trash cans. He wasn't expecting anyone to be peeking on that left side. Punished for the assumption. And now Forrest is going to get blocked off by the smokes. There is no chance of these defenders outside being able to coordinate with each other, which is part of the reason why Rez is pushed in towards Team Mid. He knows Forrest can't properly do it from that position. When this smoke clears, how does Vega approach this? Another smoke goes down. I don't think Forrest wants to give away his position quite yet. Nade might do a little bit of damage, actually a lot of damage, you'll say. Rez needs to win this fight. If they want a chance at winning this round and Rez is out in the open, he has no idea they're out Ivy whatsoever.
And 2 players were still on B throughout that skirmish. They're now starting to make a rotation, but they're not in enough positions to feasibly stop this bomb from being planted. In pushes Crush, bomb in hand. JR is keeping 2 of the CTs at bay. Finally, Forrest will better him, but the bomb has been planted in amongst that. And this is where the lack of kits that you mentioned, Moses, is a real issue, and they realize they're going to pull back.
Yeah, lack of nades as well. They don't even have a smoke or any kind of flashbangs to clear any positions outside. That's just too risky, and for a team that has virtually no money, these weapons are so valuable. You can force buy around these. Rez and Lecro, I imagine you'll drop the op over, but you can buy deagles and pistols and still have a very solid chance the next round. That would also allow you to have a little bit more utility. You'll be able to have the kits as well. But Vega going to string 3 rounds together to give themselves a 2-round lead.
On their T half, no less. where things should, in theory, be smoother for NiP. So far, it's been pretty choppy. With the 3 save weapons, though, do expect Lecro and Rez to dig into their pockets and buy something, but it seems Lecro's just going for the P250 at the moment.
That's fine. You have enough weapons to still be effective, to be able to turn this round. What you really want is Dennis with the AUG, Forrest with the AWP to be able to take contact. The more powerful guns, they're going to go right towards inside. It's Get Right here. He has no utility again. He just dropped his smoke, which is his only nade, and he's got no one to watch upper for him except Dennis, who's just rotated back. He's got himself 2 with the help of Get Right. Almost taps away at that 3rd, and now Hutchie, he can't be the aggressor. Too low of HP.
So much damage inflicted by Dennis, forcing Vega to double back and go onto the A side, where JR is going to get some success. The player of Rez, who was watching A originally, is pulled back, but now he's going to find himself a long-range frag onto the weakened Hutchie, leaving JR in a 1-on-3, and it's looking like NiP may very well bounce back with authority. There's still plenty of time, but the bomb's not under control from JR's perspective. Now, Rez has no Kevlar, so he could have some issues further down the line when it comes to aim punch, but the other 2 of NiP and Forrest and Get Right do have that, and also the open the FMR. So this is looking incredibly sketchy, but Rez has found his demise courtesy of JR. Still time to play with. NiP have got to stay in position. JR now has eyes on the bomb. I believe that Forrest is watching it with his AWP from the backside. But he's missed his shot, so now JR can pick up that bomb. Get Right's just going to bide his time and wait until JR's moved on to the site. But if he goes down in this trade, it would have got really sketchy for NiP. Fortunately, he stands his ground, and NiP will pick up a 3rd.
A nice try from JR, controlling that situation very well, but an equally good turnaround from NiP. They've had 2 of those in this half, and it's really all they have to hang their hat on. The force buy in the 2nd round, they're able to win with scouts and pistols. And that one there, where they only bring 3 rifles into the next. That's a solid win, a solid play from Dennis. And yeah, at this point, you could see Vega went back to what worked earlier. There's just a contact play out upper. They know it's caught NiP off guard. This time, Dennis far back with the AUG is the one taking contact, not Get Right. Close up. Now some of the utility can be brought to bear for the defense. Nades and Molotovs and fire and all the choke points slowing things down, but not enough. Chopper still just swings wide, takes a fight. That's beautiful. Forrest isn't going to be able to punish him before he gets away. Lecro struggled in this position earlier with the AWP. He's got to have success now. In a man-down situation, you have to deliver.
Make sure you don't make the same mistake twice and assume only one player is present. Molotov's going to force him out of position, takes a bit of chunk from that, but the 3-player strong Ivy stack is starting to maneuver into position.
No, but NiP has to be very careful. They've had a couple miscues on communication of who's watching what and where Vega can be. We know Vega's not afraid to just swing out and take a fight. No one at the moment has eyes on Ivy, which is very scary. Lecro's just turned around. He's going to be smoked off. The entire back hallway of this outer bomb site is available to Vega. His boost can do work as well. Clearing out corners. Crush is going to start aggressing. It's just Lecro with the op on the bomb.
Simultaneously, Tony Black is lurking around Pop Dog. Forrest, though, is going to alleviate some of the pressure that was being applied to outside with the kill onto Hutchie. Looking to eradicate the terrorist presence. Crush should get the drop on Dennis, spots his calf protruding around the corner. But now we're going to see a rotation from Forrest. He's making a move all the way back through Ivy's side. Could maybe get the drop onto JR and thin this one out. Crush has got the first, but JR finally gets taken down. 3-on-2 still in favor of Vega, however. And Forrest is going to have to do something truly miraculous if he's going to be able to pull this one off. Crush has been picked up. They do have some nades in Get Right's hands at this point. Can try and cordon off one of these areas to go for the retake, but Get Right's been found as he drops down towards the site, leaving Forrest, the other veteran, with it all to do. The weight of this round on his shoulders. Gonna go on for some spray. Does land the first. Still has a kit, by the way, as well. So Tony Black, on just 7 health, has got to be so careful here. If he comes out too early, it could be the round, but he's just about held on.
NiP need to do a better job of keeping eyes on this outer yard. I mean, Vega's able to get out and just walk down every single alley of these trains around wherever they want. NiP's not able to find the information fast enough. Dennis just left hanging high and dry over at E-Box. A nice attempt on the clutch from Forrest and Get Right. Not to be, and they had enough cash to force up in this one, but it's still a desperate scenario. Get Right's on the AWP now. He's going to bring that outside. Forrest with the FAMAS is inner. They are really losing track of this, though. They don't have a lot of utility. One smoke left with a minute and a half in this round.
And we have been here before where Vega got a bit stuck on the B side and had to quickly rotate into the hands of NiP. This time around, they're a bit more cautious. Chopper by his lonesome pushing on Ivy, the rest of the team making a move into box halls. Could be contact momentarily, though. As NiP have themselves Dennis, who's in Pop Dog, but it seems that the bomb carrier of Crush is going to start to move away. They're posturing on the catwalk side, and this could go horribly wrong because Rez has his crosshair trained to this angle with a Desert Eagle, and he's found two already. It's been completely shut down. The slow, steady approach has been utterly barricaded off by NiP.
Chopper's giving him an avenue to the other bomb site, but Crush is going to meet some resistance in ladder room. Dennis knows this, just has to dodge the flashbang. Oh, he gives away his position. He holds his nerve. It's a decoy that's dropped, so he was never blind, and that's the bomb. That should be the round, but one more is going to follow up in the same position. Is Dennis aware of the possibility? Certainly will be now that the nade comes out. This is going to be tough for Vega. How do NiP keep winning these desperate situations? Dennis holding his ground. And Rez with the op, going to continue the tear he had with the Deagle. 4 kills for him. But NiP is still down 1. And they need, at some point, to stabilize this defensive side.
I mean, take nothing away from Rez in particular with an excellent round, but it just does seem like a bit of a head scratch to me that Vega with the nades, the weaponry advantage, knowing that NiP are on a pretty rough buy, don't flash, don't smoke anything before peeking out of catwalk.
Well, I mean, it's worked for them, right? They've had a couple contact plays that they've wanted to do there, and it obviously landed them around earlier on in this half. So, I mean, they keep going back to it. And it seems like NiP have kind of solved it. They had the round with Dennis with the AUG far back that was able to cover it. That round with the Deagle, I mean, you're not going to get those Deagle shots every single time, but a nade stack and T-mid is going to help out. Hutchie is eliminated before he can see anything, and there's Deagles invested into this, despite the fact that Vega do not have a lot of money. That might hurt them in the next round. Might be an easy way for NiP to gain a lead in this map. A lead they haven't had since round 3.
Pretty comfortably dealt with by Lecro. Slow peek. On IV's going to yield the kill. And Vega not for the first time on the back foot. They just domes Forrest instantly. Hell of a shot. Probably won't mean a great deal in terms of this round, though, especially as he's been found now.
I mean, even I'm pissed off watching that.
At least they do pick up the double ops. Going forward, Crush and Chopper, they've both had incredible moments with the Desert Eagles. They're going to maneuver together on box halls. Be looking to push down ramp momentarily. Get Right is waiting for them alongside Dennis. This should be a massacre. And indeed it is. 5-5.
This should be where NiP is able to build momentum. They should be able to string 3 together. I don't think it might be another investment of Deagles. Maybe 1 or 2 players on Vega, but the most amount of money they have is Hutchie with 3,300. So can't get any AKs quite yet, can't get the ops, can't even really afford a whole lot of utility. So just pistols. Get this round over with, get back to your winning ways. This back and forth that we've had through various stages of this half, Vega's loving it, by the way. They already have 5 rounds in their T side of Train. And remember, Train is their pick. We saw a very tentative T side on overpass for NiP, and if that comes out here, more utility in towards T mid. Oh, that's a great nade. Look at all the damage that's done. That's going to soften everyone up, make it real easy, and this is a nice little cleanup. 3 kills for Rez. Tony Black, nothing to do. Rez just needs to fall back. Make sure you don't lose that weapon. Make sure you don't have to rebuy anything.
Yep, don't go start hunting. You're absolutely fine at this point. Tony Black hoping that someone does peek, but there's no chance that NiP are going to fall for this.
It's a little bit of almost like a mind game as well for Tony Black. It's probably, to a certain degree, you'd imagine that, you know, players of this caliber would be immune to it, but you're in a 1-on-5 and they know you guys just had pistols and no armor and you're still just like wasting time just sitting and waiting for that push. If someone is to push in his crosshair and get dropped, that's frustrating. Just sitting here wondering why he's not just coming to die and getting on with it might be a little bit frustrating.
He's at least expended one extra Molotov from NiP.
Yeah. No, it all counts.
If we get a cheeky headshot, all the better for it, but it won't be happening. Forrest silences him, and NiP do take the lead for the first time since round 3.
Yeah, since they were up 2-1. It's been 3 in a row for the Ninjas, the longest streak they've had in this half of Counter-Strike on Train. But here we go. JR's got the op out as well this round to counter that double op setup from NiP. Those ops in the hands of Ro4 and Dennis.
Still, though, Vega are in a pretty good shape themselves. 5 rounds on the T side of Train. Definitely not too shabby. I thought Dennis was going to go for an aggressive push with the AWP, but he decides better of it. It's going to be Get Right that moves back on Connector. Smoke onto the Molotov, going to block off ramp. Only Tony Black is there for the time being. And we're going to have a boost up from JR. Can he get the kill? Wasn't far off.
That's a creative play there from Vega. Remember, they've had a couple times, Ro4's seen them taking Ivy probably 2 or 3 times so far in this half. They've had the run boost all the way across, and then the peek from the trash cans. They've had it with the utility and the slow creep up. This time they just boost to stop short and go for a pick, and that almost caught him. Backs away. Last time they took Ivy, they threw that exact same smoke. That's going to block his vision. There's no one in the back halls to get any kind of information about how many are coming out Ivy. So NiP, this is applying a lot of pressure, and it looks like they want to wrap towards CT spawn, towards Old Bomb, and they have decisions. Do they want to go and crunch the B bomb site? Do they want to pinch the outer bomb site? Force is going to stop one, Dennis the other, and he's still looking for more. Hutchie's given up his position. They tried to split the B bomb site. It's a long route to take.
Well, Hutchie, the final player of the 3-man hit squad, has been laid to rest. Final 2 terrorists making a move through Pop Dog, where Rez is laid in wait, but they're actually going to pull back.
Look at the time, only 12 seconds. They're just going to choose to save. A little bit of indecision, but I don't think it would have mattered. That strategy never really came to fruition. A nice job by the Ninjas from that outer bomb yard, picking them off as they try to get towards CT spawn. A nice hold under a pressure situation. Forced right now for the Ninjas.
Might be a good time for Vega to think about calling a timeout at this stage. Have run into a bit of a blockade. As you say, 4 rounds in a row. You've got 4 of them, may as well use one.
Yeah. I might also be thinking in the other direction. You know, we've already got 5 on this T side. Why would we use a timeout now? But yeah, I mean, either way works. Force buy around these 2 weapons as well from Vega. So a CZ on Crush, Galil and a Scout in play, but JR's going to get aggressive with the AWP, and he's going to eat a bullet to the face. Nice shot from Ro4. Now towards Ivy we go. He's going to go for a repeat. That's bold. Misses the follow-up shot. Calling for reinforcements. There's the utility usage. A Molotov forces them both into the same position, and Ro4 can't get away. Rez able to trade the kill on Hutchie, but Crush is lurking up ever so slowly. Rez is going to turn in time. 8-5 now for the Ninjas.
In cruise control. That previous map loss feels like a distant memory at this point. And we are going to have a timeout. The first one of the map from Vega Squadron. They're in a bit of a sketchy position in terms of their money as well. Mid to high 3,000, so it would suggest probably half buying.
I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of surprised they went for that force up. And if they were going to force up, you're exactly right. It would have been a great time for a timeout just to discuss how you're going to do some kind of a low econ strategy. They've been leaning on basically 2 strategies, right? They've been leaning on 3 players towards Ivy, which they've had some success with, and they've been leaning on 3 players in a contact play out upper ramp and at the inner bomb site, which they've also had some success with. But both of those, the last couple times they've ran them, have been shut down. So perhaps what the timeout is for is just to think, maybe dig a little bit deeper into that playbook.
Well, let's see what they come out with. A Mach 10 for Hutchie. Not great considering that there is armor across the board for NiP and full head armor. But if they're going to go for an explosive strategy, maybe the Mach 10 can be incredibly effective. We're going to have to wait and see. Looks like they're posturing for an outside hit at this stage. The set play is about to commence. Smoke's being tossed out. Hutchie with the Mach 10 deciding not to push just yet, so maybe more of a fake to try and draw out some of these grenades from NiP. Has been successful. The Molotovs have all been used except for Get Rights. And now they're going to push. Behind the smoke, Hutchie, he's going to need to get some kills quick and fast if he's going to get anything done in this round with Vega. But it's actually Chopper with his P250 that's gone in and found Forrest, who is the top ADR player for NiP. Meanwhile, Hutchie close range against Get Right has been found with the AUG, and the round is starting to collapse.
Yeah, Rez got sandwiched in ladder room. He had a tough call to make as he commit outside and help his teammates as he watches back. Now, Vega have a chance to move towards that inner bomb site, but the bomb is too far away to get the plant. Oh, Get Right. I don't know if he saw that. He's certainly going to see him drop. Now, in the site of low HP, it's just one. Bomb still outside, JR. I've seen him be deadly in these scenarios, but he's got a long way to go to the bomb site. They have the full losing bonus, so even sitting at 1,400, he'll be able to buy in the next round. Dennis is brought low. They've got to be careful coming out connector, and the flashbang is going to make it easy. 9-5 now for the Ninjas, and they've caught fire. That's 7 of the last 8 rounds have gone to NiP.
Full buy is on the horizon for Vega, though. Final round of the half. Looking to get a 6th on the board, which really wouldn't be bad at all. Just goes to show how well they started the half, that they're still 9-5 and somewhat in this, even though they've been the receiving end of a battering these last 8 rounds.
Remember, elimination game here at IEM Katowice. NiP, they must have this map or they go home early. They must force a 3rd map, which would be Mirage. Oh, great second shot. Timing with the flashbang. Everyone from NiP has stepped up in their respective positions in the later stages of this half.
Ro4 holding it down solo on Ivy. So no Ivy presence for Vega Squadron. They're going to have to focus their attention elsewhere. Would seem like B would be the choice at this stage with 2 players over on this side of the map, but actually Chopper's dropped the bomb. So he's going to be moving into A main, I assume.
I think he wants to clear out any kind of aggression. I don't think he's going to actually peek too much into the yard, but he wants to make sure there's no one close up getting information.
Smoke in his eyes. He's going to have to make some noise. This Molotov.
This isn't going to be much of a fake if they don't commit any bodies to it. And they did try and get Hutchie down ladder. Rez fighting in the fire, and he still survives. And yeah, Tony Black's got nothing to do. Bomb on the other side of the map. Even if he was to run to get it, I don't even know if he would have time to plant. So you might as well run out to your death. It is going to be a half 10-5 for NiP for the Swedes.
Very comfortable in the end, I've got to say. I mean,
yeah.
8 out of 9 rounds to finish it off. Can't argue with that. And NiP, they've definitely dusted away the cobwebs of Overpass at this stage, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, looked much better from the start of Train as well. Either way, we're going to get this map finished up when we come back. NiP must win it. Stay tuned. NiP put themselves in position to continue this series and take Train with a 10-5 lead going into their offensive half. It was real sketchy on Overpass, though, and you have to hope they have something planned here for Train. Vega Squadron's map pick. NiP must force a third map or else they are eliminated from IEM Katowice.
It really is that simple. 1 and 2 match.
6 rounds, Vince. 6 rounds for the rest of your life.
NiP have had a lot of heartbreak recently with the majors, of course. Will it be broken again? Vega Squadron on the CT side may have to deliver some big shots if they want to hold on to this B side of the map at the moment, because JR is in all kinds of trouble. It's a bit of a labored, scrappy fight, but Get Right is going to get the upper hand onto him. And with that kill, the bomb site will follow for the Ninjas.
They do have a smoke and a kid on the Vega side if they want to go for the smoke defuse, but they must get there first. Rez trying to keep them at bay as long as possible, trying to eat time off the clock. Hutchie's close up. Great kill from Rez. He's going to get a follow-up as well. Now pushing forward, seizing his moment, and Rez has 3. NiP is going to take this pistol round, and Rez finishes it off. A brilliant round from the youngster. He's got 19 kills.
Really catapults NiP towards the finish line here on Train as well, getting both the pistols. So vitally important. 19 kills, 2 assists, 7 deaths for Rez with 107 ADR. Excellent play by the youngster. And now Vega Squadron on the back foot, don't really have any money to invest in this round whatsoever.
It's purely theoretical in saying that NiP absolutely needed that pistol round, because we just base it off of what we saw in Overpass, a team that didn't seem like they wanted to take too many fights, a team that seemed like they were a little bit tentative and scared in their approach. And certainly on a T side of Train that can just be so suffocating, that can be really grindy. That pistol round is everything at the moment for NiP. Now, we know that Vega has not made an investment into this second round. NiP does not. They have to be worried about the deagles, the nade stacks, the Molotovs, whatever it might be. You can see a little bit more cautious. Forrest with the MAC-10 can be a little bit aggressive. It's not too much of a risk to send that in first.
Here comes the aggression. Tony Black gets dinked and finished off by Lecro's UMP. The MAC-10 is going to go and rip through Hutchie. This round over in the blink of an eye. And it's important to remember as well, Jason, the last time that NiP played Train, of course, was against Windstrike, and they got battered 16-6.
Yeah, it does. I mean, they had to have expected to be playing that here against Vega as well, considering that loss.
So good to see that they've stepped things up significantly. Full Orgs with a lonely FAMAS for Vega Squadron. As a result, the firepower, though, it means no kits. And not too many nades either.
But plenty of AUGs.
Yeah.
Plenty of AUGs, and we've seen them chew the opponents up on this map. A little bit of information for Lecro with that jump. Is he aware there's 2 players ready to crunch Ivy? Player in ladder room as well, so a 4-man stack outside for Vega. Tony Black playing close up at lower ramp, hasn't seen anyone. That's a great jump through from Forrest. Chopper didn't expect it. That's a beautiful entry. And NiP, it's now all falling apart for Vega.
And you can see the impact that entry had. Hutchie didn't know which way to look. He got caught on the side from Rez, who's gone and doubled up onto Crush. And considering that this was a couple rounds in the making for Vega Squadron, if they're to lose this, they're in serious trouble, but JR and Tony Black are answering back with authority. Tony Black's going to land another one onto Forrest, leaving it one-on-one. An Org versus Org. Dennis against Tony. 50 seconds, and Dennis does have control of the bomb.
What a great read from Dennis as well, just to kind of camp out in ladder, knowing that Tony Black likely rushing over to the B bomb site when he doesn't see anything. Dennis obviously doesn't know that Smoke is going to give up a little bit of the game. Dennis needs to get this bomb planted, but he's wary. He does not know where his opponent is. What an incredible comeback in this individual round for Vega. A 2-on-4, I believe. Might have even been a 2-on-5. The fake plant, looking for the information. He's got so much angles to check, and he's making a lot of noise as well. Oh, that's so awkward. A peek for Tony. Here's the footsteps the whole way. And NiP dropped one. That was a stunning start to the round, but it's not all lost just yet. There's no money on this Vega Squadron side. Hutchie, Crush, and Chopper all going to have to buy, sitting at 32.50.
truly had the grace of an elephant at the end of that round. Tony Black making so much noise all around the site.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach to the 1v1.
But in doing so, Vega Squadron will get a 12-6 scoreline. NiP, of course, straight back into a buy, no problems. But if they lose this, they're going to be struggling a little bit. Going to be some aggression, but Chopper's going to eat the grenade.
Yeah.
Flush to the kneecaps.
And NiP know there's aggression now. Behind the back flashbang. Stylish. And Chopper's got to fall away now. Doesn't have the health to take that. You have to say, it's almost depressing that NiP lose that previous round, because that's how you want to see them play. With that assertiveness of Forest, you have a MAC-10 come through the smoke, catch someone off guard. Everyone taking fights after that to eliminate the defense systematically, and it's just... the fact that they dropped the ball right at the end is just a bit crushing.
I hope that they focus more on the entry frags than what ends up happening at the end, because Tony Black, with that org, just went absolutely ham.
Yeah,
it's not
him
going
and
to be something
JR,
he's been able to repeat too many times. Yeah, JR was the other player in the 2v4, I think it was.
Yeah,
2v3?
it was something like that. Back towards the inner bomb site we go. One Molotov left on Tony Black, which is at the inner bomb site. They are reading this so perfectly. 3 players to defend here. Oh, this is going to be tough for NiP. Certainly might get the 2 kills, but they won't expect the 3rd, and that Molotov, they're going to peek right into it. There's the SMG. Oh, great kills, though. Going to try and get this bomb planted. Tony Black's going to push up the bomb. Will go down. He'll get the kill immediately, but it's a 3-on-3 in the post plant.
They don't have the Molotov, though, from up to toss onto the site, so this is going to be a rough one. And to make matters worse, though, Lecro is making a move around the back. JR's been picked off. Lecro instantly gets downed, but he's done his job. Time is running thin for Vega. They're going to have to push in. There's a double stack on the ramp, and Tony Black has found it firsthand. Rez able to get the final kill, and Ninjas in Pajamas, 13-6.
An immediate recovery for the NiP squad. They've taken the money away as well for Vega, and now this is where, if you're Vega, maybe you do take a timeout. You've got 3 left, 2 players around 1,500, 2 players at 2,000. Decide if you want to fight or save one more time. It's like the roles have reversed from the first map, in the sense that NiP is going to have a huge lead. Remember, Vega on Overpass was up 15-7, and NiP came all the way back to force overtime. Vega's going to have to do something very similar. And in a situation where this time, we mentioned the struggles early on Overpass in the rounds and the lack of entry wins for NiP. Forrest and Lecro have won 9 of their 10 entry frag attempts.
Which is continuing the pace for Forrest, because he was really the only player that was getting entries on Overpass. So good to see that he's continued that form. Hutchie, not able to capitalize on getting the drop on Rez. Just did have a USP, of course. Always going to be a bit of a nightmare.
It's like watching Duck Hunt.
Absolutely. And Tony Black, surely not long for this world with just a USP. Does have a Zeus if someone gets up close.
I think that might be what he's trying to lure Get Right into.
Just a drop in the bucket, though, anyway. Even if NiP were to lose a player, they still have a commanding lead. Vega on the ropes, well and truly. Staggering. And of course, in amongst all of this flirtation between Tony Black and Dennis, the bomb is ticking away and about to detonate. In fact, I think it was Get Right that he was in a fight with, and he's going to make a move.
Get Right is way too patient to try and chase that down.
Yeah. If you want to pick one player not to really have that with, probably Get Right is the guy not to.
Yeah, Get Right is not exactly known to be, an eco-frag chaser. Plays it by the book. It is going to be a timeout for Vega. I mean, the buy for them is still going to look sketchy if they go for it, but you have to imagine they're going to fight to try and keep NiP away from 15. JR's got 4,300, everyone else 35, 37, 3,900. Won't be the prettiest purchase in the world.
So it looks like we are probably headed for Mirage at this stage.
Oh, you've done it now.
Mate, if they lose 14-6 leads,
What are you thinking?
they don't deserve to be at the major if they lose this lead. I'm just saying it right now.
That's probably fair. 14-6 lead for NiP. be quite the nip slip if they would lost this one.
Especially considering it's an MP7, a Mag7, FAMAS, no kits, lack of grenades. This really is the bottom of the barrel.
Ooh. That's not what you want to see. Now, a shotgun at ladder room. Who cares what your HP is? You get one shot off. Oh, wow. Nicely done from Get Right. He did get dinked at range from JR. Oh, there's the shotgun. He wants to party.
Crashed the wrong party, though, Jason. He's been ejected very quickly.
Yeah, he wasn't on the list.
Crush tagged down to 59, playing on E-Box. Has Chopper behind him towards Ivy, but the strength in numbers from NiP surely is going to be far too much to contend with for Vega Squadron at this stage.
I think the only thing left for Vega to do is to group up at a bomb site and hope they come there. You're not going to win. I mean, surely Crush with the SMG is not going to be able to stop all 5 NiP members. He's the only one outside. Maybe he can delay them long enough for the Augs to get into play, but 4 Molotovs, plenty of flashes. There's no excuse for that corner to not be cleared out. You can see with such an advantage in manpower, NiP's taking this pretty slowly, letting one person come out first, see if he's able to spot anything.
The bomb's a bit of a distance away, though. They need to be careful and not too slow on this, because Crush, if he can get the bomb dropped out, things could get interesting, but he doesn't peek.
Don't do
Slides
this.
against it.
They have no idea he's here. That's an easy kill. It's a free one, but oh, thankfully the trade comes in for Force.
All 3 players of NiP, though, are pretty low. If JR were to connect some dots, things could start to get a bit worrisome, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen as he's on a 1-on-4. Crossfire should be established, bombs planted. He has no nades, no kit, no hope, really, and he realizes it. He's going to back away. So NiP will be 15-6 in the lead. Going to get a consolation kill at the very least from it.
The worst is that hard reset that occurred after Vega won round 18. Just reset that losing bonus. Now it's only a 3-round bonus, so yes, they have this AUG. Everyone else is $2,500 or left for Vega, so again, just won't even have a solid buy that they can fight with. NiP's done an outstanding job in this half.
They're certainly got to give credit after the heartbreak of Overpass. Haven't really skipped a beat on this one. Vega looking like they're going to dip out 16-6. Org Scout, MP9, Desert Eagle thrown in the mix. I'd like to see Vega maybe try and take the fight to NiP here and get aggressive with this lack of weaponry.
You might as well. Problem is, like, one of the stronger weapons you have to play with is the Scout, right? And that needs to be at range. But certainly the SMG can get aggressive, and certainly a lot of damage being done to NiP. Get Right at 27, Dennis at 42. Look at the aggression inside. Maybe they're listening to you, Vince. Tony Black going for a hero play.
Chopper, the right side of E-Box to block off a lot of these nades. Now has to back away slightly. Still plenty of smoke, intoxicating NiP. There's also a bit of a hero play around the backside, which is Tony Black, as you highlighted before. He's now got very close, dangerously close to A main. He could be able to line up a few players here if he plays his cards right. It could be a nightmare for NiP, but it goes a little bit sideways. If he has the Auger M4, then I'm pretty sure he gets at least 2 kills. Just such is the FAMAS life.
Yeah, he's probably so frustrated. That's the weapon he had. Only one player left, it's JR, and NiP respond. A 16-6 victory, a resounding win for the Ninjas. Powered by Rez, 25-9. Powered by Forest, 24-7. They respond in kind and take away Vega's map pick. It's the desk after this, and then we've got Mirage to decide it all to see who goes home. Stay with us.